Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AD Trip, and welcome to the Game According to Me podcast. We've got we're on a couple new platforms. I was able to hopefully put this up on a couple platforms, up on Google Podcasts and up on um, Stitcher and a couple others. I think couldn't get it up on iTunes just yet, but hopefully these and all of my podcasts will be now up on various sites for you guys to listen to. So it's gonna be good. As always, I ask you guys to go follow me on YouTube at AJ Trip, and if you are a gamer, make sure you follow me on Twitch.tv/ATriplet20. But let's go ahead and get right to what we're here to do, and let's talk about sports. This is the Game According to Me podcast. The sports for the month of November 2018, and this was a pretty It was a pretty interesting month. I think we saw one of maybe the greatest games in the world, um, with the Chiefs and the Rams Monday Night Football game. That was very interesting. It was very high scoring. I know some people weren't too fond of it. I was okay with it. I think that can be fun. Just like last night's 13-10 game can be fun. It's football, dagnabbit. I mean, it's I don't know if there's not a lot of times when football is bad. So, um, but yes, it was very very good, and I truly enjoyed the heck out of it. Um, yes, we also saw the Saints before last night's game against the Cowboys. We saw the Saints really take control of this NFC, and they looked to have had it, in the palm of their hands until last night. But the Saints are gonna do what they always are gonna do. So I have faith in Drew Brees, and Drew Brees is probably gonna do a lot. Um, my team, the Chicago Bears, very interesting team. They're 8-3. They're gonna play another game without their quarterback, Mr. Trubisky. But they're playing the New York Giants, and so we'll see what goes on with that. But they've got a pretty good defense. And I think that really helps them out because I think that shows what kind of defense you can play against the New Orleans Saints. If the Dallas can do that, I think the Bears are probably a better defense than Dallas, and I think they may have a little bit more talent. So I think the Bears saw what they could do to the New Orleans Saints. They don't have to be scared of them. It probably wasn't going to be anyway, but it doesn't have to be scared of them. And then there's like so much other stuff. In the NFC, the Patriots are still the Patriots. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs. What happened to the Jacksonville Jaguars? Where did that happen? What happened to them? It's a shame. It really is. It really is just a shame. How about Andrew Luck? The way Andrew Luck is playing, the last 8 games, he has thrown at least 3 touchdowns. The last 8 games, at least 3 touchdowns. That's over 24 touchdowns he has thrown over the last 8 games. That's it. That's amazing. He has come back. He started off slow, but he has come back looking like the Andrew Luck of a few years ago when they went to the NFC Championship, the AFC Championship game. Excuse me, up against the New England Patriots that year. Um, and then there was the Seattle Seahawks who are just who are making a run at it themselves, and it's all about that quarterback in that run game for Seattle seemingly, and that's what's happening right now, and you got to give Russell Wilson credit just for keeping his team involved and shout out to Pete Carroll as well for making sure that team never quit. If they could have quit, they really could have, but they didn't. And so those boys are doing real good. And you got to give some presents to the Cowboys. They were 3 or 4 weeks ago they were talking about was this Jason Garrett's last. Will he be fired in the middle of the season? And then they've run off with 3 or 4 games since then, and they've surpassed Washington. Unfortunately, Alex Smith had that horrible injury, so it's incredible. So you got to give them what they've earned, and that's the credit for staying in it with them as well. So a lot of teams that would look like maybe they were out of it stayed in it, and that's really good. I think that's what the best thing I think about football, because you can still have a lot still going for you. And speaking of football, let's transition to college football. It was a great month of college football as well. Um, but it's all about tomorrow, right? It's all about tomorrow, the championship games, right? Right now we've got Notre Dame, we got Alabama at 1, Clemson at 2, Notre Dame at 3, and we've got Georgia at 4 for the college football playoff. And it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. I'm kind of rooting for chaos, because I want UCF, excuse me, to jump up and join the playoffs. So I think I want Clemson, Oklahoma, and Ohio State to lose. So I'm not sure. So I want those 3 to lose for sure. I also want UCF to win their game against Memphis. So then it's all about Georgia and Alabama. And this one, I don't know. If Georgia wins, I would assume that Georgia would go. If all this other stuff happened as well, and Georgia won, I was assuming it would be Notre Dame 1, Georgia 2. And then the 3 and 4, that's where you have to see. And that's where you can see where maybe UCF may not get in, because they may just say, well, listen, Alabama and Clemson, they've been 1 and 2 all year long. Even though they lost, they still belong in the playoff. And they may not put, UCF in. But if Alabama were to beat Georgia, then you could probably see Alabama 1, Notre Dame 2, UCF 3, and then you would have someone else. You'd probably have someone. You probably have Clemson, right? You may have Clemson come in. You may have a couple people teams come in. I think it would be Clemson, because Oklahoma and Ohio State would just be out of it. With 2 losses. So only Clemson would have that 1 loss. So I think you could probably keep them in there. So, and then we have another Alabama Clemson game. So we're probably gonna have another Alabama Clemson game no matter what. But I think that's what I'm kind of rooting for here. I'm rooting for chaos. But it is fascinating. I cannot wait. I plugged my YouTube channel earlier. You're gonna want to be there. So if you go over to YouTube, search AJ Tripp, find my channel, subscribe, and click the notification bell, because I'm also going to do a rapid reaction to the college football playoff live as it's happening on December 2nd. So you're gonna want to make sure that you are here for that. And it's gonna be great and interesting. So then get a few minutes left. We'll talk about not much going on with baseball. That's one of the things about this. Not a lot of hot stove leaves. Not a lot of big things going on. We don't know where Machado and Harper is going at. So maybe next month, or maybe more likely January, we'll have some more stuff to talk about baseball. But for right now, we don't have a lot left to talk about. So I think the only thing we already have left is the NBA and then WWE. Let's go to WWE first, because we just talked about Survivor Series, basically. Although they did have Crown Jewel at the beginning of the month, and boy, that was something. Starting off with Hogan and everything like that, and then and Hogan can't seem to keep his mouth shut, can he? He can't seem to keep his mouth shut. He on Twitter talking about he's bigger than most of the people on the roster and everything like that. So I don't know what he's doing. So whatever, but Crown Jewel was um, it was just I mean I had no problem once again with Brock Lesnar becoming Universal Champion. Again, I said it in my Crown Jewel review. I have no problem with it because that's kind of like first of all, the main championship is still the WWE Championship, no matter how much they want to try to push the Universal Championship as the main one, but also that was also Roman's title. And because Roman had to give that title up, he spent so long chasing it and had to give it up. I kind of don't, it can't, some people were like, Brock Lesnar, but I was okay with it because if it belongs to somebody, it should be Roman Reigns. Or how about we just get rid of it and merge it with the WWE Championship so that we have, one champion. I'm kind of getting tired of that. I really am tired of the two heavyweight champions, two tag champions, and two women's championships. We need to, merge those and just have those go from show to show. I don't know why. That's, ugh, I can't stand it. So, um, but yeah, so then let's go to Survivor Series. And I thought Survivor Series was a good program. NXT TakeOver, obviously, the night before. NXT TakeOver War Games was really great. Talking about 2 5-star matches. But Survivor Series was okay. And I said this again in my review as well. If you're going to do Survivor Series Raw versus SmackDown, and again, I know that they had to do a quick turn because of Roman Reigns' illness. But if you're going to do Raw and SmackDown, it can't just be for brand loyalty and brand supremacy. It has to be for something bigger. It needs to be for something much more, common. It's got to be about, I'm thinking money. So I think that's probably like the biggest thing where it's something about money. Or maybe something having to do with the Royal Rumble or something like that. So I don't know what to see. They were, again, they did it, but it's because of what happens. So we'll see what happens next year. Next year is going to be in Chicago, Illinois, so that's going to be real, real good. I can't wait for that. Um, so yeah, and then quickly, with a couple minutes left, basketball. Surprisingly, the Los Angeles Clippers, top of the Western Conference. I find and then we got Golden State up there too, and the Denver Nuggets are right behind. So I know a lot of people were worried about the Warriors just once again running roughshod, and that still could happen. But it doesn't mean that there isn't some good stories going on. The Clippers and the Denver Nuggets are up there now, and that's gonna be a very interesting piece as we continue to go forward. Can the Clippers, without like a true star, can they keep it up? And it's the same thing with Denver. Denver doesn't have a true star, although Jokic are their best, is their best player, more than likely. But it's gonna see how they keep it up. Steph's injury, I'm sure he's coming back. I believe this weekend with Steph's injury. How would that affect the Warriors? And then the infighting between the Warriors. And over in the Eastern Conference, Boston Celtics are still trying to get their stuff together, while Toronto, is running once again over the Eastern Conference. So it's going to be some good stuff as we head into the new year for the NBA. Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. I am out. And then once again, go over to YouTube. Follow me, AJ Trip. If you are a gamer, go over to twitch.tv/ATriplet20. Thanks for listening. Share it with all your friends and family. And I will talk to you in December.